Hey everyone, it's Pastor Lance, and we're so glad that you're joining us on this Wednesday night for Gateway Midweek. I have a very special guest with me. That is Gwendolyn. Can you say hi?
Hi.
And we like to drink special drinks around Christmas. I don't know about you, but Gwen, what's your favorite Christmas drink?
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. Now, we don't do just a normal hot chocolate here at our house. We do some special ingredients, right?
Right.
What are some of your what's your favorite ingredient in our hot chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Well, let me tell you about our secret hot chocolate, the Ainsworth collaboration here. First, we steam whole milk. Gotta have whole milk unless you're lactose intolerant. You can do water, that's fine. We put the chocolate powder in there. And then what do we put on top of that?
Whipped cream.
We put some whipped cream, as Gwen calls it. We put some whipped cream, we put marshmallows, we put chocolate sauce, right?
Right.
And then we put some little peppermint in there. You want to try some of that? All right, go ahead. Oh man, is that good? I'm gonna try some too. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, we just, before we get into our Gateway Midweek, we just want to say from our family to yours, we want to say what, Gwen?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We hope that you're enjoying this holiday season. Thank you, Gwen, for being a part. You can go. And so glad you're with us. You can go ahead.
Okay.
See you later. And right now we're doing, going through a book entitled The Advent Conspiracy. So last midweek and then this midweek and the next two, we'll be going through this book. So if you'd like to purchase that, you can get that. And Advent Conspiracy, Making Christmas Meaningful. And so I want to talk to you out of a chapter in that book about spending less this Christmas. And maybe we caught you a little late in the journey here. You're like, man, I wish you would have done this Gateway Midweek a few weeks ago before I bought all my Christmas presents. But we're not going to necessarily just talk about just spending right now this Christmas season, but just in general, finding more meaning this Christmas and how to do that. You know, Advent is this, it's preparing for the coming of Jesus, for the birth of Jesus. We're anticipation, we're looking back on how this powerful moment over 2,000 years ago when Jesus came to this earth, and what does that mean to us now? And so this idea of spending less, I would say not just at Christmas, but in our life, you know, materialism has become a big part of our society. I want to read this quote to you. It's from an article in Values Americans Live By Robert Coles. Robert Coles passed away in 2006, so even more so, I think this statement rings true. He said, "The different behaviors of people or a culture make sense only when seen through the basic beliefs, assumptions, and values of that particular group." According to Coles, the definition of materialism in America is to value and collect more material objects than most people would ever dream of owning. It also means they give higher priority to obtaining, maintaining, and protecting their material objects than they do in developing and enjoying interpersonal relationships. And you know, materialism is a big part of our society, but even Christmas. You know, my aunt and uncle, they're missionaries in Asia for over 20 years. And I remember they were telling us how, you know, even in China at the time, they would play Christmas music. Not because they were necessarily Christians or that they were celebrating Jesus, but just by playing Christmas music, it put people in the mood to spend money. You know, retailers love Christmas because it's a time that we are spending money. And what happens in a culture of materialism or valuing objects more than relationships or valuing things more than people, what happens is that what we see, what are actually luxuries, we see as necessities. I don't know if you guys have ever felt that in your life. You know, what we see, or what are actually luxuries, we see them as necessities. We need the latest iPhone, right? The biggest TV. We need seat warmers in our cars. I'm gonna get personal. I need new golf clubs, right? Like my old golf clubs are just not working right. I need new ones, right? You know, and so we start seeing these luxury things that are really blessings, and but we start seeing them as necessities in our life, and that's a good clue to when materialism has taken over or consumerism has taken over in our life. And I'll just tell you a personal story. This last year, me and my wife, we bought a home in Visalia, and we've been renting before that. And at our rental house, we had this massive closet. I mean, it was just amazing. Like, you could put a bed in there, and it was great, because we could spread all our stuff out, and everything was really well. But whenever we started buying a house, you write your wish list, and you kind of have your things that you want. Well, you rarely get your wish list, of everything that you want. But this particular house had everything we wanted, except the closet was probably about an eighth to a fourth of the size of our other closet. And we had to make this decision, like, can we live in this smaller closet, and it seems so silly right now to think about it, but you're just like, I don't know, can we do it? Where are we going to put all our stuff? Where are we going to put all our clothes, all our shoes, all our jackets? And you go to this dilemma. Well, lo and behold, we bought the house, and, we've been living with this smaller closet now for quite some time. And, it's funny, you don't realize what you consider a necessity really isn't in our life. We thought a big closet was this big necessity of our life that we had to have. But until we went without it, we were like, it's really not that big of a deal. In fact, maybe we have too many things to go in this closet in the first place. And I think, I'm not here to shame anybody. I like this quote from one of my pastor friends. He says, God's okay with us having things, just not the things having us. And that's the difference, is do you view your life through the lens of what materials you've gathered, and you're doing everything you can to protect them, like Cole said. And so one of the big words God's been teaching me this year is about contentment, being content. What is contentment? Contentment is this. It's a state of happiness and satisfaction. 1 Timothy 6:6, Paul's talking to Timothy, and he says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Being content isn't about having more. It's about being thankful for what you have. And I think this Christmas, if there's something we could choose, and that is this, in the midst of COVID-19, in the midst of an election year that maybe didn't go how you wanted, or maybe it did, or all the discourse in society, is that can we just be thankful for what God has done in our life? And especially when we're looking at Christmas, can we be thankful for Jesus coming, for humbling himself to come in the form of a baby? And not make it about the things, not make it about the things that we buy, or the things that we're going to get, or the things that are on our wish list, or whatever that may be, but really truly make it about Jesus. And Jesus didn't die so that we could just have things. He died so that we could have a relationship with God, and that we could spread that relationship with others to glorify him. And so are we making that the goal? We're advertised to, some people would say, between 3,000 and 5,000 things per day we're being advertised to. If you watch TV, if you're on the internet or YouTube, if you're driving down the street, wherever you are, there's advertisements that are coming your way. And what are advertisements' goal? I'm going to tell you the goal of advertisements right now. An advertiser's goal is to get you discontent with your life. Their whole goal is to make you think that you're missing something in your life. And that's the whole goal. So there's something missing in your life, and because that thing is missing, you need to purchase so-and-so item. This is going to make your life better. The whole vision statement of Starbucks isn't to make good coffee, it's to make people happy, right? And so they're trying to sell happiness, right? So you can't be happy unless you have this nice cup of Starbucks, and it just makes you all warm and fuzzy inside, or whatever, whatever it is. And so I want to talk a little bit about this idea of discontentment. What causes discontentment in our lives and makes us want to spend more? One of the things is we compare our lives to others. I don't know if you guys struggle with that. I'm sure all of us at some point have compared our lives to our neighbors, or to our family members, or even just complete strangers, and you say, something's missing in my life, I'm discontent. Another thing is that we find meaning in stuff rather than relationships. We found meaning in the things that we can collect, or the things that we can hoard, or whatever it is, and we find like, man, there's just this great satisfaction. The other day, Gwen, she had earned some money because she was helping me do some work in the backyard, and so I took her to Five Below. It's a great store. It's a little bit above dollar store, like that, a little bit nicer stuff in the dollar store. It's Five Below, but she gets there and she's looking around and she buys Play-Doh, with her money. And we get home and she's just sad. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, this Play-Doh isn't making me as happy as I thought it would, And she was just sad because, she put her happiness in, what can I gather, what can I get? And she had this anticipation and this little simple toy, it didn't bring her the satisfaction that she thought it would. And that's our life, If you put your value in things that you have, you're always going to be wanting more. Number 3, what causes discontentment is lack of gratitude or entitlement. If we feel entitled to things, or if we're owed things, or we look to other people to make us feel, to give us things, or to make a way or path for us, rather than being grateful or giving honor to those who have paved the way for us. One of the things that causes discontentment is circumstances that are out of our control. We're living in the middle of that right now. What happens in that is that it shows our lack of trust in God. When we stop trusting God, we get discontent. When we stop believing that He knows what He's doing and that we could do better, or He's forgot about me, or whatever it is, when we lack our trust of God or we lose our faith, it leads to discontentment, focusing on the negative in life, or perfectionism. Perfectionism can cause discontentment. If you're one of those people that everything has to be in place, and the Enneagram 1, is it the reformer? Some people call it the perfectionist. Everything's got to be in line, and the event has to be just right, and you're so focused on the doing and the busyness, or you got to get just the right gift. And I don't get just the right gift, that people are going to think that I'm a horrible gift giver and I don't love them. And you focus on this perfectionism, and you lose in the present moment, and that can lead to discontentment. So my challenge to you, on this Wednesday night, Gateway Midweek, is how can we be content? How can we spend less? How can we make this Christmas less about the things that we do, or the things that we have? My wife's phone is going off right now. So my challenge to all of us, this Christmas season, this Wednesday night, Gateway Midweek, is that we would choose contentment. That we would choose to maybe spend less, not just Christmas season, but we would value relationships and experiences over materialism and things. The relationships, the family relationships, our church relationships, man, they're priceless. You can't put a price tag on those things. And another way you could do is just, instead of worrying about the amount you give or the gift that you give, man, just make it meaningful. Instead of just doing the normal gift card. Everybody loves cash, I know, but man, I think some of the gifts I remember in my life weren't gift cards. They were always when somebody really thought about, man, what would be special to me, or what would make me feel like I am loved by them. And even the gifts that I've done for others, it's whenever I really took some time and thought about it and said, hey, what would really be special to them? And so here's 6 ways that you can spend less in your life. When you find yourself unhappy, pause. Don't go into retail therapy. Don't go on Amazon. When you find yourself discontent, just pause and thank God for what you do have. Thank the Lord for what He has done in your life. Number 2, this is real simple. Stop buying stuff you don't need. Like I said, whenever we got the smaller closet, we realized we probably didn't need all these clothes or these items or these shoes or jackets that we have. It only gets like 30 degrees here. You don't need the heavy winter jacket, if I tell you, or whatever else. Number 3, practice gratitude. Make gratitude a part of your life. In Psalms, David said, enter into His courts with thanksgiving. A grateful heart is how we enter into God's presence. A grateful heart is how we experience His presence in our life. And so be thankful. Focus on others. Don't make it about you. How can I make somebody else's life better? How can I bring them joy? Learn to enjoy the simple things. That could be whatever it may be. That could be walks in the morning. That could be, the things that you already do have, whatever those simple things are. And lastly, this is live in the moment. Don't always think that your happiness or your joy is going to be attached to something in the future or something you can get in the future. Live in the moment now. Be thankful for what you have now. Let us choose contentment. Let me read this verse to you again. 1 Timothy 6:6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. I pray for you that this season, this Christmas season, would be enriched with relationships, experiences that bring you joy, not just about things, that you don't go in debt trying to impress people or trying to get just the exact gift, but that we would live within our means, and that we would even, which will move us into our next week, be able to give more and bless others. So God bless you, Gateway. we're going to continue on our mission to invite others in, connect through relationship, our community.